The idea for today's video came to me after watching the Pepsi and Coca-Cola commercials because literally all I could think about is why is Coca-Cola's mascot a polar bear? Like that would not be the character or animal I would choose to represent that brand. So I thought maybe I will draw my own. And because today's video is sponsored by Skillshare, we're doing something different and I'm working on my iPad today. And I'll explain more on the class that inspired me later. For now, let's grab the iPad and get creative. First, I need to Google some Coca Cola reference images because I do not have any soda at home. I honestly don't like it. I don't like the taste, and this is probably why, to me, Coca Cola is not a lovely white polar bear. All I can see is that it's a black drink. And no hate to Coca Cola at all because it's so weird that I don't like it. I grew up with it. My mom absolutely loves it. Can't live without it. Dare I say, she's addicted to it. But as I said, all I can see is a black drink. So I think a cute character for this brand should be black too, right? Also, because I don't drink sodas or carbonated drinks, my stomach doesn't handle them well and I get bloated. So I thought the cute character should also be a little bit bloated. This is why I started sketching a little Coca Cola bottle and then I did a drawing of a cat around it and I made the cat a little bit thicker. I got the reference for one of those classic glass Coca Cola bottles in for my drawing, and as I saw it and as I continued drawing, I felt my character needed some red details. So, inspired by the cap on that bottle, I gave my cat a little red cap too. Coca-Cola in glass bottles are still very much a thing here in Ecuador. I mean, they are not as popular as plastic bottles. They're kind of hard to come by, but you can definitely find some. And some soda connoisseurs have told me it tastes different. Can you taste the difference between a Coca-Cola on a plastic bottle and a can and a glass bottle? Let me know. I'm super curious about that. Well, I kept sketching and playing with the face, and the nice thing about sketching on an iPad is that you can easily change things, move them around, go back if you regret your changes, etc. The cat also definitely needed more red, something like that red band going across the bottle. So for a minute I thought about giving it a sweater, but then I thought a cute little bandana would be cuter and it would symbolize that band anyhow. And why not? Let's have the cat hold his own little bottle of Coca-Cola. Now I had the first rough sketch, so I added another layer and created my first outline on top. When I draw digitally, I go through many, many layers and outlines until I'm happy with the drawing. By the way, I'm sorry about my head getting in the shot so often. I will fix as much as I can of that in editing, but filming myself working on the iPad is a first for me, so I'm figuring out the best to deliver this process to you. Like I said, I just decided to try this concept because I was inspired by a class I joined on Skillshare. I went into the platform to search for some classes, and this iPad class got suggested to me. I obviously know how to use my iPad already because I have outlined all of my coloring books on it, but I thought this was a nice class I could have playing in the background as I painted. Well, I found all of the tips and tricks shared by Lisa so interesting that I stopped painting and I gave it my full attention. And I also saw this as an opportunity to practice what I learned and improve my skills with digital drawings. If you've seen any other of my videos, you know I'm always wanting to try other mediums in art. So I wanted to do this. And if you're like me and you like trying different creative things, you should consider joining Skillshare too. If you haven't heard about it, Skillshare is an online platform where you can find all sorts of classes that are led by industry leaders in drawing, painting, photography, content creation, and many, many other things. I know I always find the most interesting classes to join. And right now, it's a great time to give Skillshare a try because the first 500 people to click the link in the description or scan this code on the screen will get a 1 month free trial of Skillshare. Yay! Well, back to my drawing, and I was done outlining everything. And I don't know if this happens to you. It happens so much to me with both digital and analog art. Once I clean up the drawing, I find that the sketch looked better. Ugh. No matter, I'm used to this happening right now, so I thought let's just carry on with the idea and improve that first outline by working on top, changing a few things. First, I decided I wanted the outline not to be black, but a very dark, desaturated brown because I was trying to get colors from the Coca Cola image I had on my page. And definitely also on the second outline, I improved a lot of the lines. Still, I wasn't convinced about the brown, so I changed it to burgundy and I thought that was better. Time to color. I wanted to apply some of the tips I learned in class using different brushes and adding texture. And on this one, I really had to stick with my vision because I've never drawn something this dark. And for a long time, I felt it wasn't working. I started testing background colors because although it's not apparent on the footage, at the moment the image was looking so flat and dark to me. I also realized by looking at the footage that I work on my iPad using only one hand. And from the class, I learned that the Procreate app is optimized to work faster with two hands. So I guess I need to keep on practicing. My doubts with this drawing led me to try different saturation and brightness levels for it, but I still like the idea of the cat being Coca Cola color too much to let it go. Kept things dark, and I carried coloring to see where that would get me. I started to add details through paw prints that then I changed, and then I also changed the quality of that crisp outline by going over it with a different brush. I changed the eyes to black with little shinies. That helped a lot to see its face better, along with me coloring a lighter patch of fur under the nose and the cheeks. Then, of course, I needed some highlights, and I think the highlights were really what made this drawing work and good enough for me to leave it alone. I just had to draw the bottle for his paw, which I did, and then I finished. I really, really like it. Oh, and to carry the brand's reference a little more, I added that signature Coca Cola wavy line to the background before adding a shadow to ground my character. I actually love this one so much. I'm super proud of it. I printed it out to get a better look of it, but I'll share that at the very end. For now, I want to move on to the next brand I want to turn into a character, and that is Twix. Twix is my all time favorite chocolate bar. I love the combination of the cookie in there, so I'm going to try not to eat it while I do this and use it as a reference because I am trying to cut down how much sugar I eat. I eat a lot. There's so much chocolate all around my studio, you wouldn't believe. Chocolate is my weakness. In fact, I've been loving this other chocolate so much. It's good and creamy, and I do like dark chocolate best. But back to the Twix bar. When I was thinking on how to draw it as a character, I immediately thought about a bunny with long ears to represent the two chocolate bars. So I started by sketching a bunny with its ears up. And I thought maybe it would be cute if the eyes were rectangular as well instead of round. I kept adding details trying to figure out how to include the caramel filling in my design. And because it wasn't really working out, I thought maybe I should try a variation of the bunny with the ears down. Mm, I wasn't convinced about that one, so a third try where the ears were bigger still. I was being super indecisive, so while I drew without loving any idea, I ate half of the chocolate. I couldn't resist, it smelled so good, but at least I only ate half. To get a better vision of where this was going, I gave a little bit of color to my sketches, and I chose the colors to represent each one of the three ingredients in the chocolate. Once I had color on them, I thought the bunny with the ears flopping was the best choice, so I started to outline that one. Because I have been using it a lot in my sketchbooks, I chose a sketchy outline for the drawing. It wasn't looking great, but I thought if I doubled the lines, it would be better and it would give me this soft drawing, this soft feel, and I could keep the light coloring I had already done while sketching. So I did the outline and I started to color again, matching it better to the actual chocolate, and I was happy with the soft style of the illustration. But then I put a color on the background and it looked bad. Like it obviously did not match the brand. I didn't like it enough, so I went back to my original sketches and decided now I would try the bunny with the giant stiff ears because it was the best choice. I outlined the second sketch and I felt the ears were too tapered, so I drew a couple of rectangles and drew the ears again using those as reference. Finally, I had a version that I liked enough to color, but I still hadn't figured out how to include the caramel. So I drew a wavy line coming down from the ears, i.e., the chocolate bars, to the forehead, and that immediately looked like a headband to me instead of caramel. So I erased the squiggly lines and replaced them with a headband. Dropped color into everything, including the background, and now it was starting to make sense. Yay! So I started to add texture and shadows, and I used that caramel color for its cheeks. I matched the color of the cookie better, and then I decided that was enough caramel on its fur and that I could just make that headband red to bring in the color from the logo. Added a few highlights and done! Here is my character representing Twix. Again, I'll show you the print at the end, but for now, let's move to another brand I actually love, Oreo. Let me begin by saying I lost footage and my way with this project. I love Oreos and we usually have them at home, so I got up to see if we had a packet in our cupboard, turned off the camera, and then when I got back to my desk, I forgot to turn it on again. So luckily Procreate records your progress, but yeah, I lost some footage, so here's where we are now. My screen with the package of Oreos for reference and the little baby otter. So I chose an otter for Oreo because I thought it would be a black otter floating in a river of milk. But somewhere along the process, I lost that idea and it ended up being super different. This was my first try that I didn't like, but now looking at the footage, I like it. It's round and cute, but I thought it looked too much like a beaver and not enough like an otter, so I moved on from it. And I even had him holding his tiny Oreo. Aw, but that didn't work for me that day. So, armed with more referenced images, I drew a second one, and I was really trying to make it look like a baby otter and super different from another otter character I've already created, which is Otto, the space otter. I used to have him as a sticker, he's so cute. So, after playing around with it, this is the second otter I drew. The final outline is done, and I think it still looks cute and like a baby. Not as round as the first one, but it was working for me. So it was time to color it. And this is where I think I lost my way, and I started adding beige and like gray to my otter. I think I got way too influenced by that reference image on the corner there, and I forgot that I wanted mine to be all black to represent an Oreo cookie. And I wanted the otter to be a baby floating in milk because Oreos really connect me to my childhood. Yeah, I that's the concept I wanted, but I forgot because I was happy coloring. I was singing the jingle to myself for Oreos in Spanish, which is crazy till this day. I remember, and it takes me back to me staring at the TV, watching the commercial, and singing, ¿Quién es esa niña que está comiendo Oreo, disfrutando el chocolate? And it goes on, but I don't know if I can do this on YouTube. But yeah, so I wanted an otter, but I changed it. And I even changed the actual mini Oreo the otter had in its hands and turned it into a black belly patch because now I was struggling to make this match an Oreo because I forgot about this original idea and deviated to making a cookies and cream theme for the otter to try to make it fit into the Oreo idea. Does that make sense? I mean, I don't think it makes sense in reality, but it made sense in my drawing. Or does any of this make sense at all? Well, whatever. I forgot my initial concept. So I added the spots, and then it looked too much like a baby leopard, which then made me regret my decisions even more because Mariah Elizabeth recently created a cookies and cream leopard, and I know some people are going to come at me because of that. But I kept trying and trying, and I thought if I added the background and the splash of milk, maybe it would all make more sense. But maybe all I had to do was color it all black. Ugh. Well, I then drew the ridges that the Oreo cookie has around its belly patch to make it match the theme more, and I made some areas darker. I tried to give it more character and personality, but it wasn't working, so I added the chunks of chocolate again, making it cookies and cream again. It looked okay. It definitely matched my reference picture, but I was struggling for it to be oriented to the brand. So then I tried to change the eyes, maybe having them bigger would help. It didn't. So I turned my attention to try to color the milk and fix it so it would look whiter because for some reason, I don't know, color theory, it was looking super gray. Even if I picked the whitest white again and again, it looked gray. Then finally, after much struggles, I gave up and this is the final drawing. And that's where I stopped recording. I called it a day. I was not crazy about this character matching Oreo, but still, it was a cute, fluffy little otter. Good enough. But then I reviewed the footage, remembered my original plan, and I had to do it again. So I created this black version. What do you think? Which is better? Well, this one is the one I thought worked better, and hence the one I printed. And here they all are. And now you can tell me if you think my character creations have done justice to their brands. Honestly, my favorite still is the first cat, which sparked the idea for the entire video, but I do like them all. Please let me know what you think about this, especially because since this is a new format for a video, I'm a little bit nervous about sharing it with you. So I hope you let me know if you like this by commenting or sharing or liking, because that really helps me a lot as a creator and as a person who is insecure about the content today, and as someone who serves you with what you like the most. Okay, I've yapped enough. So with that, I'll see you on my next video, and I hope that you're having the most wonderful day. Bye.